Tyrone William Griffin Jr., born April 13, 1982. Ty Dolla Ign is one of the most gifted artists of his era, a songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist, and a hook specialist who seemed destined to be the next male face of R&B. For a moment, he was everywhere. His voice was the glue of the 2010s, the secret ingredient labels used to turn average songs into hits. But somewhere along the way, Ty became more valuable to everyone else than he ever was to himself. The features piled up, the hype grew louder than the albums, and the industry slowly boxed him into a role he never meant to play. Today's feature is a talent too broad for the lane he was forced into, and a career that should have been far bigger than it became. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Ty Dolla Ign is a singer, songwriter, and producer from Los Angeles, California. Raised in a musical home where talent wasn't optional, it was inherited. His father was part of Lakeside, the legendary funk group behind Fantastic Voyage, and Ty grew up surrounded by rehearsals, live instruments, and endless studio sessions. By his early teens, he could already play bass, guitar, drums, and keys, developing the musical ear that later made him one of the most in-demand voices of the 2010s. He first broke through behind the scenes crafting hooks and writing for others, but it was 2010's Tooted and Booted that put his name in motion. By the time he dropped Beach House and signed with Atlantic Records, Ty had carved out a lane nobody else could match. Melodic, raspy, technical, and West Coast smooth. Hits like Paranoid, or Nah, and Blase stamped him as one of the most promising new artists of the decade, while his pen quietly powered tracks for Chris Brown, Rihanna, Kanye West, Post Malone, and more. In the mid-2010s, Ty Dolla Ign looked like a guaranteed future star, the rare artist who could write the hook, sing the hook, produce the beat, and steal the show all in one take. Stunt number 1, the industry used him more than elevate him. Ty Dolla Ign came into the game with every tool to become a front-facing star, but the industry quietly realized he was far more valuable as a supporting piece. Instead of being developed into the next great R&B lead, he became the go-to glue for everyone else's records. And that's where the first major stunt in his growth began. Ty was too good at helping other artists win. His hooks turned street records into radio hits, his harmonies cleaned up rappers who couldn't sing, and his ear for arrangements made average songs feel polished. But as the feature requests kept coming, his own momentum slowly shifted from future star to feature specialist. Labels saw the numbers. Every song with featuring Ty Dolla Ign performed better than songs he was the marquee name. So instead of investing in his solo vision, they leaned on the part of him that was already guaranteed to work. He became a cheat code for other artists, the missing piece for everyone else's success. And that typecasting happened early, right when an artist needs the most directional support. Ty wasn't treated like an evolving album artist. He was treated like a tool. If you needed a hook, call Ty. If your song needed color, call Ty. If a rapper needed a melodic bridge, call Ty. It was great for visibility, terrible for identity, because while his voice became one of the most recognizable of the decade, his name never separated from the feature tag attached to it. Worse, his solo drops were often overshadowed by the same artists he helped elevate. Fans saw him everywhere, but never truly for himself. The industry kept eating off his talent, while his own star power stalled. And that early misalignment slowed the rise he should have had, setting the stage for every stunt that followed. Stunt number 2, never establishing a clear artistic identity. For as talented as Ty Dolla Ign is, one of the biggest factors that slowed his rise was the lack of a clear, defined artistic identity. Listeners could describe his voice instantly, and they could list all the hits he boosted for other artists, but ask people what Ty's own musical lane was supposed to be, and the answers were always all over the place. Some saw him as an R&B singer, others viewed him as a melodic rapper, some thought he was strictly a hook man, others compared him to Nate Dogg, and that confusion didn't come from fans, it came from how Ty presented himself. Instead of leaning into one strong, recognizable direction, he floated between every lane at once. At times, he sounded like the next West Coast R&B star. Then he'd shift into alternative influences, then pop hooks, then stripped down soul. The versatility was incredible, but it came at a cost. Nobody knew what a Ty Dolla $ign album was supposed to feel like, and without a consistent identity, it's nearly impossible to build the kind of anticipation that turns talent into superstar momentum. His projects reflected the same identity problem. Pockets of brilliance mixed with songs that didn't feel connected or rooted in a signature sound. Ty never had the defining album that told the world, this is who I am, and that type of direction is what separates great artists from great contributors. You could hear the skill in every track, but not the identity behind it. Meanwhile, artists around him, even those he helped, had clear branding, clear sounds, and clear lanes. Ty had all the tools to lap most of them, but listeners struggled to see him as the centerpiece. When people don't know what to expect from you, they stop expecting, and when they stop expecting, they stop checking. That artistic blur, not a lack of talent, kept Ty from becoming the star his skills should have made him. Stunt number 3, the sound around him evolved, but Ty didn't evolve with it. Ty Dolla $ign entered music during a moment when his style was perfect for the era. Melodic hooks, West Coast bounce, heavy bass, and raspy smooth vocals that sat right between R&B and rap. For the mid-2010s, that sound was gold, but as the industry shifted in different waves, Ty didn't shift with it. And instead of staying ahead of the curve, he stayed exactly where he'd been, a lane that soon stopped feeling fresh, stopped feeling unique, and stopped feeling essential. The sound around Ty changed fast. R&B became darker, more experimental, and more female-driven. Artists like SZA, Summer Walker, Her redefined what the genre was. The emotional vulnerability got deeper, and the sonic textures got more atmospheric. Production became more minimal, more moody, and more cinematic. Even the writing evolved. Heartbreak, toxicity, and introspection replaced club hooks and party energy. But Ty stayed tied to the exact style he came in with. The same raspy harmonies, similar cadences, similar beat choices, and the same formula that once made him the cheat code for rappers. Nothing was wrong with the music, it just didn't grow. And when an artist's sound stops evolving, the industry quietly moves on without them. Not because of talent, but because listeners want the next chapter, not the same page. Ty didn't reinvent himself the way the greats do. He didn't pivot into a new era the way Drake, Chris Brown, Future, or even Tory Lanez did. Instead, he delivered solid music that lacked the excitement and evolution fans needed to keep seeing him as a leader. Meanwhile, the artists he once boosted, Post Malone, YG, Wiz Khalifa, Kanye, Mustard's Camp, either reinvented themselves or faded alongside him. But Ty, being more talented than most of them, should have been the one who reinvented himself first. Instead, he became the consistent artist in a world that rewards reinvention. And staying sonically the same while the entire game moved forward cost him the superstar leap he once looked destined to make. All in all, Ty Dolla $ign is one of those rare artists whose talent was never the issue. He could sing, write, arrange, produce, and elevate any room he stepped into. But the same gifts that made him valuable to everyone else made it harder for him to carve out a space that belonged solely to him. Being the perfect feature artist, the reliable hook specialist, and the versatile collaborator kept him everywhere except at the center of his own story. His career shows how easy it is to get boxed in when you're great at helping others win. The industry will use that lane until the wheels fall off, and by the time you realize you've been held in place, the sound has already shifted to a new generation. Ty never lacked the ability to be a superstar, he just never had the direction, branding, or evolution that turns talent into dominance. But his legacy is far from negative. His influence is real, his voice shaped a decade. And if he ever finds the right lane for himself, the door isn't closed. It's just waiting for him to walk in as the artist he's always been meant to be. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.